All right, welcome back, Jim and Doug Show, back again. Um, I'm doing the intro today. I hope you guys finally got to see our ugly mugs on the video. So now if you don't like us, you can turn away. But we're here. So now we're time to time we'll do these video podcasts. We'll have it available on YouTube, and
So our intention here is that we're going to have some video of some upcoming guests and so forth. So we're really looking forward to it, and we all thank you for your support so far. And as Dougie was just joking before we went on, it's the podcast of the future. So welcome aboard and stay with us. I think we got some good things coming up.
Absolutely.
So let's touch on real quick, which let's talk about the British Open. It was awesome.
It was.
I mean, it was the first time that I could recall that there was literally 10 to 12 guys that had a legitimate shot at winning this with 5 holes to go. Normally it's, there's 2 or 3 guys. And, yes, the course didn't look beautiful, but they all had to play it. And it really was awesome. And what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can't disagree. The big names that were in the mix, you had, obviously you had Tiger. That was the big story. Him leading, he made the turn with the lead. I mean, everybody was locked in on that. But you also had Spieth in there. You had Rory in there. You had, Molinari was playing lights out pretty much. Kisner was looking for his first major.
Yeah, Kisner hung in there, and
Schauffele is a good young player. Like that. I mean, it had everything you wanted. Rory was coming on strong on 16, 17, 18. He went to the clubhouse with the lead. So, I mean, I loved it. The course was just interesting. Like, the shots that these guys had to make. Guys putting around bunkers, like shots you'd never see in tournaments played here. I mean, it was just really fascinating. And the course was the story again. It's been, as it's been the last 2 majors.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And, I mean, the run that Justin Rose made near the end, too, was amazing. I mean,
for sure. I mean, come on. He birdied. If he had hit that birdie putt on 17, it would have been a lot of pressure on Molinari on that 18th to avoid a playoff.
And I know we kind of, or at least I kind of joked about Molinari running away with the Quicken Loans thing, but who's hotter on this planet than him? And I tip my hat to him, man. He went out there and he played the golf that he needed to play, and he won it. I tip my hat to him.
Yeah, nobody's hotter than him right now. I mean, out of his last 4 starts, I think he has 2 wins and a runner-up. And I think he played decently well at the U.S. Open as well. So, if you're looking for a guy to bet in the next tournament, I would definitely stick with him. He's looking good right now.
And, it's like winning a hand at blackjack. If you win it, you let it ride, kind of thing, I guess, right?
Let it ride. I mean, he's feeling it right now, and pars on that course on that day were like birdies.
Absolutely.
It was just he did great. He really did great, and
And I think the great thing about it was like I said, there was these 12 guys that were coming down to the wire. And one of them wasn't named Dustin Johnson, and one of them wasn't Jason Day, and it still was one of the best majors we've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, Justin Thomas wasn't in the mix. Koepka.
Nope.
All those guys weren't, and it was. But you had names. You had Rory. You had Spieth. You had Tiger. Obviously, I mean, let's talk about him for a second. He should be the first. He should be the first thing we mentioned. He looked better than he's looked in a long time, and if he didn't mess up that one hole, he probably would have won the tournament.
I know. I didn't want to bring him up as the first thing because, like I said, let's give the champion his due. But yeah, I mean, he looked really good physically. He looked amazing. I mean, it's as good a shape as I've ever seen him. But yeah, he did make a run at it, and you'd have to say he's got a chance at the PGA.
Of course. And he qualified for Bridgestone, too, so he'll be playing the week before BGA, too. Like the World Golf Championship. So he impressed me. I mean, the fact that he's... The thing that you never would see from Tiger, I guess, in his later years was hitting fairways. And he led the tournament in hitting fairways.
I know, he did.
He didn't have to scramble the way he usually has to, and even when he did pretty well, besides that one hole. I mean, that shot out of the bunker was unbelievable, and like I think it was the ninth hole. That shot out of the bunker where he just went for it, unbelievable shot.
But that's what made it, like I said, the way the course was playing, you were getting 80-yard rolls. So these guys can hit a 1 and they hit a 2-iron and get the roll. So they were hitting 300-yard 2-irons. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, and if they happened to take the driver out, it was going 400. But just the question was how accurate it would be. And if you weren't accurate on this course, you were done. Because then you were hitting sideways shots out of the bunker, sideways shots out of the fescue, and like they were just done. They were just done. So the most accurate guy, Molinari, who I don't think he missed the fairway the entire match. At least the last hole or the last round, he didn't miss and the fairway the entire time. He ended up winning. That was the game.
He avoided that burn, which that got speed. That got a bunch of guys. That thing runs like 1.4 miles around the entire course. It ate guys for lunch. It was amazing.
It really did. And I was watching something on Golf Channel about Van de Velde.
I remember watching it. I don't know if you do, but I do.
I mean, I didn't see it live. I was too young, but I watched something on the Golf Channel about it, and that was I kept imagining that during the last round, someone getting to that. Like, even when you get to 18, it's not over. It's not over. That whole play was playing tough all week too. And it's like I said, that burn really could cause problems.
I was trying not to bring up the Jean Van de Velde thing, but hey, it happened. I remember the call. Curtis Strange was calling, and he goes, "This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen on a golf course." I mean, and it really was. I was watching it going, I can't believe this is actually happening. And it actually happened.
All he needed was a double bogey, right? That's all he needed.
He was up 3 shots with 18 to play. He just needed to hit an iron, another iron, and 3 putt, and he would have been fine.
Yep. But he took the driver out. That was his first problem.
Oh, God.
Crazy.
But it was great. And so next up, PGA. We'll see how that goes.
Yep, St. Louis, I think it is. So, it's of course in St. Louis. So we'll see how Tiger does. See, take a look at the field. We'll handicap that when it comes up. So.
Very solid stuff. Very solid stuff, though. It was really good to watch.
Yeah, it was. Definitely.
Hey, so let's move on. I know you're excited like I am. The training camp opens on Wednesday.
Yes,
love it. Giants signed their #1 draft pick.
They did.
Saquon
got $31 million guaranteed. So that's a lot that's like the second highest paid running back right there.
I know.
If you can believe it.
Yeah, I think there's only like Bell, Freeman, and
McCoy
make more, yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's the name of the game. When you pick a guy #2 and the salary caps are the way they are, that's what he's going to get. But you know what? If there's anybody that's going to earn it, it'll be him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but it's unheard of to get 100% guaranteed contract. I mean, wow.
That's how it is now with the rookies. They got to get something. So, but yeah, Beckham's showing up. The Giants picked up Connor Barwin today. I'm definitely excited to see football back. I think next Thursday we got a game, so we're ready.
Yeah. So I don't think, like I said, if everyone thinks that Mayfield is going to get more than Barkley, it's not necessarily true. Because you see what quarterback, I don't know what Allen signed with in Buffalo, but what kind of money are they getting?
Mayfield didn't sign yet. I know that.
No, I know, but I don't think he's going to be expecting to get more than 31 mil, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I think there's like a slot, like a set amount that he should get. Allen, I don't think he signed yet either. I saw that. The only one that signed was from the top 5 was Chubb, and he got I think like 19 or 20. That's what he ended up getting. So he's much less than what Barkley was. So and Allen will get less than that. It kind of just goes based on where you're drafted at. It doesn't really matter the position. So
usually the #1 pick should get the most money, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get $31 million. Especially with what the run of luck Cleveland's had lately,
Well, he'll get pretty much what the slot will make, and the slot's like 33 or something. So his agent's gonna say like you got to sign us to this what the slot is. So they have like a set amount that they have set aside. So he'll get that.
Well, maybe the Barkley signing will get these other guys to sign up to Allen and so forth.
I think it will. It wasn't Barkley wasn't I wasn't really worried about that. He kind of just said, I'll sign it when I'm ready. He said like the Giants had their offer out there, and like that was just it. He just said I'll sign it when I show up. And he did. So that wasn't. I never saw that was hanging over their head or anything. But yeah.
Well, we got certainly a good reason to be optimistic with them. I don't know. Did Darnold even sign yet? I don't even think he signed.
No, he didn't sign. Darnold didn't sign at all yet. So only the top 5 was Barkley and Chubb to number 5 to the Broncos.
Well, I told you I wasn't super high on Donald. So if I was his agent, I'd tell him to find a pen and get down to the Meadowlands and sign that deal.
The Jets, man, the Jets is like the kiss of death if you're a quarterback for them. So that's the problem there. But he'll do all right. I think he's better than anything they've had in a while. So I think he'll do okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out soon enough. So.
Yes.
Oh, and just a real quick, another football note, and I thought it was pretty funny because you and I talked about it. Manziel got traded.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. He's going to get his shot now. He's going to get a shot to play CFL. He hasn't played yet. And,
right, but he's going to play for Sherman.
Yeah, Mike Sherman. And that was his college coach that recruited him. Whatever, you know what? I'm okay with it. I want to see him. I want to see what he could do after all this time. See what the guy can do.
I think we saw enough of what he could do. Whether he does well in Canada or not, it's never going to translate back to this side of the.
You're probably right, but he has some talent that's untapped. I know he does because we saw what he did in college, and he has something there. So I'll watch him. If he's on, I'll watch it because there's nothing else on, and I miss football. But
there will absolutely have to be nothing else on any channel on television for me to sit down and watch him. I'll watch them. I'll watch the lowlights on SportsCenter.
I miss football, man. I just miss football. So if he's on, I'll pop it on. Plus, like, if you look around the league, really, and see the quarterback play, like, some of these quarterbacks are awful that we got to watch week in and week out. They're terrible. If he has some shred of talent, someone's going to take a chance on him. Because you just look at this, the quarterbacks that play, like, last year, like, I had to watch, Carson Palmer gets hurt or whoever gets hurt. It's just like the backups that come in for these teams, like the Jets, the Cardinals always have had bad quarterback play. The Raiders when Carr gets hurt, like I'm just sick of watching it. So if someone has some shred of talent that was, that would make him get picked in the first round, put him in, because I'm just sick of watching the bad quarterback play.
I know, but I think he had his shot and he blew it. And I don't think he's getting another shot. So
we'll see. I mean, you know what? I'm a sucker for second chances, so we'll see how he does.
Oh, listen, real quick, because I saw this an E60 too. It was really interesting on former Giants backup quarterback Jared Lorenzo.
Oh, Lorenzen. I heard Lorenzen. Yeah, the hefty lefty. I loved him. I heard about this, but I didn't see it.
You have got to see this. You wouldn't believe how big this guy is now.
Well, I know he's like 500 pounds.
He's over 500, yeah.
But now he's trying, I guess the premise is he's trying to lose weight.
Right.
So, all right, I'll look it up. I know. I actually kept tabs on him for some reason. Like, I looked him up.
He's actually a pretty decent guy. He's got kids and he's a good father and all, but he went on these binges and so forth, and it started to happen in the NFL. And they said you can't show up looking like this. And then once he got out of football, it was all over. He didn't stop. It wasn't a Burger King, and in the United States, he didn't visit.
But he was still playing. He was still playing football. He was playing like this like arena league, like backyard arena league type thing.
And you want to see you should have seen the way that you see this piece because they showed him playing for this arena team.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even. They didn't even have a shirt big enough to fit him.
But he was playing. Wasn't he like slinging it all around? He was playing well, right?
Right, but that's when he got injured. He goes, the reason I got injured because I used to tuck it in or throw it away, and this time I didn't, and the guy took his knee out, and that was it for him. So
Oh God.
it's a good piece. It's a good piece to watch. So check it out.
I'll definitely check that out. I was a big fan of his.
So listen, what else you got? Let's talk baseball for a minute.
All right, a couple trades made. We saw the Indians picked up the closer from the Padres. That's a big trade for them. They gave up a really good catching prospect to them. So
Yeah.
the Indians, look, they may not be doing that well right now, but I'm looking for them in the playoffs. Their lineup is relentless. Like those guys, Lindor, Ramirez, and Encarnacion. They have a really good lineup, and you know what? You can look at their record and like poo-poo that, but they have a solid. They definitely have a solid foundation where they can definitely make a run.
Yeah. No question about it. And the A's traded, and they got at least the best reliever the Mets had anyway. They got Familia. I don't know if they gave up much to get him, but that's a surprise team.
Oh yeah,
they could win the West.
Fast. They're only 3 games behind Seattle.
Right.
The A's are coming up fast. They might end up getting into this wild card before it's all said and done. They really might. And
sure could. You bet.
And then of course you had Machado. Machado goes to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers gave up a lot just for a rental. 5 players for just a rental for this year. That's something right there.
Like I said, I think there had to be discussions behind the scenes saying, here's the number we're going to offer you, and we want to keep you in LA. And we'll see about that, though. You're right. Right now it looks like a rental, but
yeah, they have. I mean, they do have players in that spot. The reason they went out and got him was because their shortstop was out for the season. So that was a big thing. So maybe they keep him, maybe they won't. Maybe they keep him, maybe they won't. But definitely a huge move as far as their lineup. He puts a big position in their lineup. Probably they put him in third, batting third. I mean, their lineup's scary, very scary.
And if Kershaw comes back healthy and gives them a run, they're going places.
I think he just started the other day. I think he's back now. So we'll see if he regains his old form. But he's looking good for sure too. So yeah, I mean that trade was definitely a huge, moves the needle in the National League for sure. I mean that NL looks wide open.
Yeah, but I think if Kershaw comes back, the Dodgers go to the World Series. Whether they win it or not, I don't know. But they do have a packed lineup. They really do.
Them or the Cubs? I won't count the Cubs out because they just have a lot of talent. They really do, and I think they're going to be the ones that will make a big trade. As far as going towards the deadline.
That's possible.
Yeah. So.
Those are the only 2 teams really in the National League that are worth anything. I mean, I'm not really worried about Arizona or Colorado. They'll come back down to earth when it's all said and done. But one other thing coming up is the Hall of Fame guys going in, and I was checking it out today, looking at them. A lot of these guys in their primes, or at least, maybe even playing at all. Alan Trammell.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Morris.
Yep.
And I was on the fence. I mean, Trammell was a real solid ball player. Him and Whitaker were the best.
He's always the one that they argue that should be in, Alan Trammell. They always argue about him. But
if they let Craig Biggio in, then they had to let Alan Trammell in, because he was a Gold Glove guy, and he had probably I'm going to say 285 lifetime average.
Yeah.
But the only the other ones and Jack Morris was a great pitcher, but if you look at his numbers, you'd say but he was a big money pitcher, big time money pitcher, and that's what got him in the Hall of Fame, not his record, because he only won 20 games one time.
So by saying that, then you think Pettit and Messina should be in too?
If Jack Morris gets in, absolutely, both of those guys get in, and it's not because Messina was a big time pitcher like Pettit. He was a solid pitcher. He was one of the best pitchers in the league for 10 years.
Oh yeah, and but he was kind of the guy. He won only 20 games his last year of his career. So he was always hanging around 18 wins, and he was dominant in some years on the Orioles. Like he was
Yeah, he was.
like a top 5 pitcher in the league. So he was dominant, but I think he ended up with like 236 wins or something like that. Pettit is like around the same. Maybe he's like 245.
Right,
So,
Jack Morris didn't even come close to that. I don't
No,
even know if Jack Morris had 200 or not. I'm not even sure.
I think he was right around 200. He might have actually been right at 200.
Yeah, he was up there. But and the other guy's Vlad Guerrero.
Oh yeah, he's in.
He's in, and I looked at his numbers. He was a stud. He was.
Oh my God, forget it.
But then the other lock for sure was Chipper Jones. No question about that. No debate.
Oh, he's a switch hitting third baseman, outfield. He was just a solid player year in, year out. So yeah, he's definitely in. But I mean, I think going into this year, I'm trying to remember who's eligible. I think this might be Mariano Rivera's year.
It could be. I was thinking about that too. It's either next year or one more year. I mean, he's out maybe 3-4 years now.
Well, Jeter, he retired 13.
Oh, then he's up this year then.
Yeah, because Jeter retired 14, and Jeter's last year was the year after Mariano. So we'll get them in 2 years in a row probably.
Oh, I thought Jeter retired in 15 because this was D. Gregorius' third year with the team. Maybe, whatever. But and the other one I was on the fence with was Jim Thome.
Yeah, but he hit 500, didn't he?
I know. Is that a guaranteed? That's like that's like Don Sutton getting in because he struck out 3,000 batters, but he pitched for 38 years.
Tell that to Aaron Judge because that's where he's headed too. So I mean, you hit 500 home runs, that's your ticket right there.
Yeah, but Jim Thome was, I don't know. I'm on the fence, but I looked at the list and I said, of all of those guys, for sure, Guerrero and Chipper Jones. No problem with Trammell getting in, with Biggio getting in, and Morris. You're right, Mussina and Pettit.
Mussina's gonna get there. He's been trending upward. But how about this? How about we're talking about the Hall of Fame. The Football Hall of Fame is right 2 days away, a couple days away. So that's what we should really be talking about. And like you had this year, it's a big class. You have like Ray Lewis, Urlacher, T.O., who's not gonna go. I forget who else is in it. Maybe Favre even. I think. But did Favre go in last year?
Yeah. I don't think he's in this class with.
He might be. But
you think?
I know it's T.O., Urlacher, and Ray Lewis, which is that's definitely a big class. I know T.O.'s not showing up. What do you think about that?
I have no problem with it. He was never a sportsman or didn't exhibit the class that you should, like a guy. And I just saw him. I didn't know he was going to be on the Monday Night Crew because Jason Witten retired.
Yeah.
And whether you like the Cowboys or not, you got to know that guy was class. That guy was great, and that's why he's the face of the NFL. And Owens was just belligerent and a dirty sport. And I don't have any problem with him going.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Urlacher and Lewis. Yes, from playing on the field, regardless. I do have a problem with the Ray Lewis off the field kind of thing, but. He was acquitted, so he goes in. He was one of the best linebackers I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was it. I've read between him and Singletary were the two best middle linebackers.
Yeah, I don't. There's a bunch of other ones from the olden days that, but yeah, I don't know. I'd have to check it out, Dougie. I'm not sure if Favre is on board.
I should have researched that beforehand, but yeah, that's that. So there you go. Ray Lewis, Urlacher going in. I know it's a big class, definitely a big class. A lot of notable names going in. So, congrats to them. T.O.'s going to do his own thing, I guess. I don't know who he wanted to. He wanted somebody to let him in to basically kind of do the introduction, and the NFL didn't like it. I'm not sure who he wanted. Maybe it was Michael Irvin, but the NFL said no. And then once they said no, he said he was going to do his own thing. So go ahead, go do your own thing, T.O., whatever.
I say the same thing. Go ahead.
He makes it about him. He makes it about him.
which is not uncommon. That was his whole career. And yeah, he put up big numbers and he was talented, big receiver, but
For sure.
you know.
That's how it
So
goes.
what else you got?
Not much. You know, it's kind of a dead time for sports. I know Saratoga started up, so I don't know if you took an interest in that.
I'm well aware the Haskell coming up at Monmouth this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been paying too much attention. I know it started. I know enough to know that it started up. I was watching for a minute today on TVG, but yeah, you had that. You know, it's kind of a little of a quiet time in sports. Next week you have the trade, the trade deadline, and all that, and that's going to be a lot of topics talking about. Yankees will definitely land their pitcher, whoever it is. But it may be DeGrom, maybe Cole Hamels, Happ, whoever they choose to kind of land. But
Hey, hold on to your hat. I mean, Sonny Gray has pitched pretty decent the past few games. Maybe he's come out of this slump that he was in.
Yeah, I'm alright with that. If they shipped him out, I wouldn't be sad. To be quite honest.
Yeah, I know.
I actually heard that. I heard that other teams were looking to trade for him because they think he can do it better in a different market, which I actually agree with. I think he wouldn't be. I think he'd be a lot better in like a place like Milwaukee rather than New York.
Yeah.
So that's
we'll see what happens. But like I said, it's the dog days of baseball season. It's going to be exciting, but I could see this happening. The Yankees win 110 games, and they gotta play a 1-game playoff.
Oh my God, be the worst. That'd be the worst. But you know what? Thankfully, they have a lot of games left with them.
Well, listen, coming up, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but we do have a very knowledgeable sports guy who's coming up, and he's going to be a guest. I talked to him last week, and he's going to be on our show, so we'll talk about stuff like that. Ask him whether or not a 1-game wild card makes sense, or should it be 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
A real baseball guy, so I'm looking forward to that.
We won't say any names, but we'll be able to talk about the trades. We'll be able to talk about the pennant race, but it'll be definitely a solid show and a solid brand name. A brand name for sure.
So really, before we wrap up, I was thinking the same thing about it's kind of a slow time outside. World Cup is over, the British Open's over, and football really hasn't started yet. I can't believe that there's a sport, and ESPN carries this, the American Cornhole Championships.
Oh, I need to be in that. I love cornhole.
Oh, okay. I get it. And I said, wait a minute. You're going to tell me that these guys are better than the 10 million people that go to wherever city they're in, their home team's games and play cornhole every Sunday. These guys are the cream of the crop. To me, it seemed like one of the most ludicrous things ever. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know what? It's kind of surreal to see it on ESPN, but I'm a cornhole advocate, so I just love it. I love it. I love that game. I'm good at it. I like to play. I would love to compete on that stage and be in the event. So I'm okay with it. But yeah,
I knew you were going to be into it, and I knew you were probably good at it because you played it 1,000 times.
I love it. Tailgate. If you catch me in MetLife Stadium parking lot, I'll take all comers in cornhole, can jam, cornhole, whatever game you want to play. I love cornhole, and I'm happy to see it on there. I'm happy to see it finally getting its respect on ESPN. I love it.
Wow. I mean, I say what's more my speed, and I could see this, and somebody would say, hey, this is the same thing. The Bassmaster champions,
Yeah.
I mean, I go, that's awesome, though. I mean,
it is. It's awesome, and like that's the same type of thing. It's the cornhole. That's the cornhole maybe of your generation, and it's, in my opinion, it's a skill. It's a sport. That's what it is. Both are sports. And what? There's nothing else on at this time.
I think being a master bass fisherman takes a little bit more skill, knowledge, than cornhole does. Nothing personal.
Well, whatever. To each his own. In my opinion, both are sports. I like to watch both. And you know what? There's nothing else on anyway. There's no basketball. There's no football. Baseball is the only thing you got pretty much right now. No hockey. So you know what? I'll enjoy it because I like cornhole.
There was also one thing on which it doesn't seem to catch on into the U.S. as much because, I'm not really sure why it doesn't get a lot of press, but I know a lot of guys that played rugby and they had this 7-on-7 rugby championships last week.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a little bit of it. It was on after the Open.
God, there was one guy. He was as big as a house, running down, and guys are just falling off him.
The Eagles picked the rugby player of the draft.
Yeah, he's not going to make it. It's a whole different game.
It is. Game. I mean, obviously, he was playing positions that he wouldn't even play. They had him he was carrying the ball for rugby. He was playing offensive line for the Eagles. So I think they just drafted him based on his athleticism and his size, and maybe they can coach him up a little bit.
Well, I got a friend of mine who, dig into rugby. I got a on the show and talk about rugby.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, I'll take on anything. Any sport he wants. If we want to talk rugby, I'll have to brush up on it, but I'm down for it.
All right. Well, listen. In the meantime, I wanted to do a little wrap up with the World Cup with a soccer buddy of mine who's very, very knowledgeable, and I'll see if we can get him on, and
yes,
we'll talk about his views. And what I'm curious about, and I'd like to ask him is, is it really catching on? Did the fever really catch on the United States? I mean, you and I both said, "Hey, this was great. I thought it was awesome," and I feel like we're in a minority, though.
I don't know. I'll say this. I really, this is me personal. I can't really speak to anybody else, but I found it way more compelling when I didn't have a dog in the race, and I could just kind of pick who I wanted to pick, and I could pick and choose the games I wanted to watch, and I didn't have to feel bad about USA losing, because they're always going to lose. You know why? Because there's too many options for U.S. athletes to pick, and they're not going to pick soccer. They're just not. There's more money in all the other... I mean, there's more money in soccer if you're really, truly elite, but there's more money and more spots available in other sports, and that's just what people are going to pick. And that's more popular here. That's just how it is. So I'm not going to hold my breath on the best athletes in the world choosing soccer. I'm just not. So maybe I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's the coaching. Maybe it's the players. Maybe it's the way they're brought up. Maybe it's the choices. I don't know what the issue is, but I do know that we'll never truly be competitive or be an elite force that comes back again and again and again and again in the World Cup. I just don't see it.
But it seems like the U.S. women's has progressed more and so forth over time,
But I think that's the main sport for them to pick. I just don't think, because women's basketball isn't even a fraction as popular as men's basketball. It's just not. Football, they don't even have available. And softball isn't popular.
It's becoming popular, so popular, and I don't get it because I don't find it to be exciting enough to watch. Lacrosse.
Yeah. Well, it's popular. It's popular to people to play, like high schoolers to play, and but I just don't think even that there's nowhere to go if you can get a college scholarship out of it, but after college there's nowhere to go.
I agree.
So.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it because one of my nephew gave up football for lacrosse, and he better make the major indoor lacrosse league, when it's all said and done. He's only 12.
Well, hey, maybe he's the kind of guy that breaks the mold. You have to see, but everyone has, people have fun with what they choose, and if he gets a scholarship out of it, I think that's worth it.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, great, good show, and like I said, guys, we're again grateful to our audience for checking in with us, and we look forward to having our special guest on coming up. Yes. Very shortly, and until then, Jim and Doug signing off. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.